And hey, great to see everybody. We're here on a retreat day for all those people at home. Uh, oh, Rob's having a little bit of a problem, but he'll get here eventually. We're having a retreat day on the last Sunday of every month. We get together for a Sangha retreat and we pamper ourselves and have a wonderful time meditating, and we do a few teachings. We just finished a lovely yoga session with our friend Ajem, some yin yoga. We have some breathing classes later. So lots and lots of fun stuff to do. This is our first teaching of the day. We finished our prayers this morning. And I thought, well, we're currently within our other program of our 10-week meditation program. They're coinciding. So I thought today's retreat teachings will reflect the level we're on in the program. And so in our meditation program, we're currently working on body scanning and body awareness. And so I thought that would be a great thing to learn a little bit more about. So for our morning teaching, I thought we would look a little deeper into our body awareness meditation and share the Buddha's first instructions on meditation, which are referred to as the 4 foundations of mindfulness. The use of the word mindfulness in this meditation instruction clearly shows that the practice of mindfulness and meditation are interdependent. For myself, in some ways, I see them as being just about the same practice. It's just the same practice on the cushion or off the cushion during our day. It also tells us that this is an insight meditation technique, which we use our mindfulness awareness to investigate and gain insight into ourselves and our lives, right? The term 4 foundational aspects within the title refers to as 4 objects of contemplation: our bodies, our feelings, our minds, and the Buddha's teaching and our experience and relationship to those. Those are the 4. So today I'm going to share just a brief introduction to these contemplations, and then we can practice a few of them within our body awareness meditation. So we'll do that. We'll do a little teaching. We'll do a half an hour of meditation on it. And then we're going to follow up with a group conversation circle, and we'll talk a little bit about our feelings and experience of the practice ourselves. So in this teaching, the Buddha advised us to contemplate these topics within our meditation and also throughout our day, meaning these instructions pertain to both our meditation practice and our mindfulness practice. We begin with our first contemplation. In this first contemplation, we investigate various aspects of the body, including the breath, posture, body awareness, mental awareness, and the impermanence of the body. So within these contemplations, so the titles are like, this is the first one is contemplation of the body, but actually there's many contemplations within each one. So I think it's more proper to call these contemplations on the body, because as we just said, there's so many aspects we can focus on. The breath, which we often do, but our posture and the way we hold ourselves, our awareness and qualities of the body. So within this contemplation, we notice the experience. We then acknowledge that we are experiencing the experience or having the experience, and then we bring awareness to it to examine and get insight into it. So an example would be if we were contemplating on the breath. Now, in our calm abiding meditation, we watch the breath and we use it as an anchor to keep us in the present moment. But here we're talking about actually insight meditation of contemplating the breath. You know, what is the quality of my breath and things like that. So this is a little different. The first step is to notice we're breathing, then to acknowledge the experience by saying, I am breathing. Again, this might seem simple, but this is the very beginning instructions by the Buddha. So it really is quite simple. Then we investigate the breath and things like, am I breathing long or short, fast or slow, strong or softly? These are the kind of things that we're contemplating. We're just examining the breath. We're examining the sensation of the breath, the quality of the breath, things like that. Another example of contemplating on the body is feeling pain, either physical or emotional. First, we notice the pain, then we acknowledge the pain by saying, I'm experiencing pain. Then we investigate the pain. What type of pain is it? Is it constant? Is it passing? What are its causes? And how do I best deal with the pain? So for the Buddha, it seems he was very uh, uh, assertive about acknowledging that that's a big part of this, is acknowledging the experience. So whatever happens, the first thing we do once we notice it, the first thing we do is acknowledge it. I am experiencing my breath. I am experiencing pain. I am practicing this practice. It's always about acknowledging that the present moment and what I'm doing here and now. Um, and as you could see, there's so many things you can meditate on the body, any aspect of the body. We can do this with, right? Um, Again, posture. Often the Buddha would say, when you're standing, acknowledge it. I am standing. I am sitting. And what that does is that anchors you in the present moment. Because as soon as you acknowledge what you're doing in the current moment, you are present, and the mind can't be anywhere else. That anchors us in the present moment. So when I say to myself, I am thinking, I can't be lost in the future or past. I am here right now. I am sitting, I'm listening, right? Any verb, any present tense verb locks us into the present moment. So our second contemplation is on feeling. Now, feeling here doesn't pertain necessarily to emotions, but instead to sensations and the quality of those sensations. And mostly they're referring to the groupings of sensation as positive, negative, or neutral. Right? This is a very basic level of cognition in our minds, that as our mind scans our environment looking for interesting or pleasurable objects, uh, the mind, even before we're aware of it, the mind automatically categorizes these things into these three major categories of positive, negative, and neutral. Now, we might say, well, that's kind of simplistic, isn't it? I mean, we have a lot of diverse opinions about things. When I ask you, what do you think of what do you think of strawberry ice cream? You don't tell me positive, negative, or neutral. You usually give some beautiful adjectives, and oh, it's heavenly, and it's a fresh taste. But those are elaborations. Within meditation, when you develop a real supple awareness and you're able to see and investigate the mind at very deep levels, you start to see that all of that later conceptualization is really just elaboration on those three things. We really do see the world in those three categories, right? The brain does it initially, and then we kind of add to it with language. But if you notice, the mind really does that. The mind differentiates those almost immediately with contact on any kind of a phenomenon. So within this contemplation, we notice the experience, acknowledge that we are having the experience, and then bring our awareness to it while examining and gaining insight. So for example, if we're feeling itchiness during meditation, we first acknowledge the experience by saying, I am experiencing itchiness. Then we examine the quality of that feeling. Is it positive or pleasurable? Is it negative or painful, or neutral and I'm indifferent to it? This is one of the main meditations the Buddha suggested, just this very basic thing on these three categories. Another example is, say you're feeling bored in meditation. First, you notice the feeling, then you acknowledge the feeling by saying, I'm feeling bored. Then you investigate the quality and feeling. Is it positive, negative, or neutral? What does it feel like physically? What does boredom feel like in the body? What is its causes? How do I best deal with the feeling? Right? We're investigating, we're asking questions. This is what we mean by contemplation. And the whole time we're learning from it, right? We're learning about ourselves. On our next contemplation, the third contemplation is on the mind. Here we contemplate the qualities of the mind, mental states, emotions, and awareness. Within this contemplation, we begin by noticing a mental quality that arises. And again, it can be any, like some we just mentioned, boredom is a mental quality, alertness, dullness, anxiety, all of these things are mental qualities, right? The condition of the mind. Um, so once we notice a quality arise, we then acknowledge that we are experiencing it and then bring our awareness to examine it and gain insight from it. So an example would be if we notice we're feeling anxious, which is a common quality. We first acknowledge the quality by saying, I'm experiencing anxiety. Then we examine the quality. How does the quality feel? Where do I feel it? What are its causes? How do I best deal with the quality? Any kind of questions like that arise. Another example would be a joy and feelings of happiness. They don't have to be negative qualities like pain and sadness. They can be positive qualities as well. And so here we first notice the quality, then we acknowledge the quality by saying, I feel joy. Then we investigate the quality. How does the quality feel? Where do I feel it? What are its causes? How do I best deal with the quality? Yeah. And our fourth and last contemplation is on dharmas. So I think many of you know that the word dharma in Indian languages of Sanskrit and Pali and dhammas in Pali it has a broad range of meanings, but generally, especially in Buddhism, we see dharma as teachings, the teachings of the Buddha. We often call it Buddha Dharma. But it can mean truth. It can mean many different qualities. Here we do mean teachings. So here we're referring to the aspects of the Buddha's teachings and our experience and relationship to them. So we're still contemplating on ourselves, but here in relation to the Buddha's teachings. So within this contemplation, we can choose a dharmic topic, which there's so many, the Four Noble Truths, the two truths, karma, dependent origination, emptiness, any one of these topics. We then acknowledge our current experience and relationship to it, and then bring our awareness and experience to examine and gain insight to it. So let's talk about a couple examples. So if we choose to contemplate on, let's say, the Buddha's Four Noble Truths, we first decide how it relates to us. Then we contemplate the experience. How do the Four Noble Truths relate to my daily life? Is unenlightened existence truly suffering? Is it actually possible to transcend suffering? How would that feel to transcend suffering? Um, is the Eightfold Path possible? And things like that we contemplate. Another example would be, say we contemplate on the Buddhist teachings on the three poisons of attachment, aversion, and ignorance. If we we can look at that and we can decide how it relates to us and contemplate the experience. Is it possible to transcend attachment and aversion? What is ignorance? How is ignorance affecting me in this very present moment? Um, and especially that last question is, I think, so true among all of these contemplations. All of these contemplations are about understanding ourselves. In one way or another, they're all directed to us. You know, they can also relate to our environment. You're free to do them all. But at this stage, the Buddha is really trying to get his followers to practice introspection, you know, to peel the onion. And the instructions for this are quite interesting. You know, nowadays we have all these instructions for meditation of what the proper sitting position is, or the perfect way to hold our hands, or how to breathe. But in the Buddha's teachings, all of these things are very simple. The Buddha's instructions would be, find a place at the base of a tree and sit down cross-legged and contemplate, right? Contemplate these four contemplations. That's it. He's not telling everyone to sit in lotus position, what they call the 7-point posture. Some people, some traditions um, claim that you have to hold these postures for your meditation to work, which I totally disagree with. Um, and he didn't have a lot of elaboration to it. What the Buddha's instructions to everyone were just simply find a quiet place to sit cross-legged, and think about these things. And again, from the very beginning one, he starts with, notice your breathing. When you're breathing, say, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in a short breath, I'm breathing a long breath. You know, these simple things the Buddha is doing. And what he's doing is he's trying to create self-awareness. I am doing these things. I am breathing in. I am feeling anger. I am feeling pain. Um, my mind is anxious. Um, in the Four Noble Truths, we ponder suffering. Am I feeling suffering? Do I suffer every day because I'm in some sorrow? What does that suffering look like? Could I transcend that suffering? The practice I'm doing now, is it helping me to transcend suffering? It's quite fascinating, isn't it? But these teachings are basically teaching self-awareness to people, to be aware of everything they're doing. And of course, so that would be considered mental and bodily awareness. Um, and again, you can see how the Buddha's first meditation instructions are much more of an insight meditation, which is quite fascinating. The Buddha, I'm not sure if he ever really gives calm abiding instructions. To be honest, I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to Google it. Uh, it seems calm abiding is something that people started to do later. The Buddha's initial instructions were insight meditation. Anyways, fascinating stuff. So that's an important topic in Buddhism. And I think now that you're becoming established meditators, isn't it really interesting to find out where does it all begin? Uh, now that I think about it, I do remember the origin of calm abiding. The Buddha doesn't teach it because it was already there. I knew the answer to this, I just had forgotten. Calm abiding meditation was the standard meditation that the Buddha had learned from many other traditions. The Jains and the Brahmin were all practicing calm abiding at this time, and they were doing jhana meditations at this time. And his teachers believed that these levels of jhana, especially the fourth jhana, was the peak of meditation. And the Buddha was sure it wasn't. And what the Buddha achieved was he found nirvana, which was above those states. He found true enlightenment. The other teachers thought that they found enlightenment, but the Buddha was sure that they hadn't, because when they came out of their meditation, they weren't enlightened. And so the Buddha pushed past that. Somehow inherently he knew that it wasn't far enough, and he pushed past it. And then he creates, he becomes enlightened through insight meditation. And he shares his path, the Buddha Dharma, on how to achieve full enlightenment. So thank you. Sorry about that. I forgot that I knew the answer to that. So insight meditation was the original meditation that everyone practiced. So here the Buddha was taking people a step further. He was starting to teach here insight meditation and self-awareness, that being calm isn't everything. We have to become self-aware. So with that said, how about we bring this into our meditation, and we'll see if some of you can take the Buddha's instruction and become enlightened today in our retreat, which I'm just teasing. I don't think anybody's going to become enlightened that fast. It hasn't worked that fast for me. So we'll see. So let's begin by taking our seats and getting comfortable. And like always, you can close your eyes and breathe naturally through the breath, through the nose. Begin to calm and soften your breath and mind. And we've been sitting for a while, so let's say we do a 20-minute meditation. I don't want everybody to get sore. So today, let's meditate on the second contemplation, contemplation of feelings and sensations. And let's begin with a short, calm, abiding meditation and then go into our body scanning. Let's engage with the 3 breaths. Look straight up at the ceiling, bend back, pull your shoulders back, open your chest, and take 3 full breaths. We're still doing yin yoga. Oh, it feels so good. Now let's establish the proper posture and attitude by following our 7-point meditation checklist, as always. Posture, hips, joy, acceptance, equanimity, awareness, and engage. And we're just going to practice some calm abiding for a few minutes. Now let's begin our body scanning meditation. Either fast or slow, it's up to you, whichever of the techniques works best for you. Starting at the head. And as you scan, look for any feelings or sensations you may encounter. As you notice them, acknowledge them by saying silently, I'm experiencing itchiness, pain, happiness, whatever the sensation might be. Then stay with the feeling and investigate it. Is it positive, negative, or neutral feeling? Where exactly do I feel it? What are its causes? How do I relate to the feeling? Or how do I want to react to the feeling? After you've investigated it to your satisfaction, which can be any amount of time, from a minute to a few minutes, continue to scan from head to toe and back up again while looking for another feeling or sensation to investigate. And continue this scanning and investigating for the rest of this meditation, which will be just about 15 minutes.